Welcome to Let's Rap. Today we invite you to rise above personal perception. Let's rap, let's talk about it. We have a topic that I am very excited about today. Is my relationship over? And we're continuing a spin-off from last week's segment, Why Did I Get Married? And I just felt in the spur of the moment last week that we need to do a relationship series. Because a lot of people are having challenges, real challenges, in their relationship. But it's not as difficult as we think it is. Wayne Dyer has a book that says, change your thoughts, change your life. And I so resonate with just that phrase. If you can change your thoughts, you can truly change your life. And so one of the questions that I want to pose to you today is, have you done the work? You know, because we get to a place where we get very frustrated in our relationship and we feel that it is over. But one of the questions that came out of last week's segment was, do you want out or do you want better? And if you want better, you have to be prepared to do better. When you want better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. So a lot of times we can't do better because we don't know better. We don't have the tools to understand what we need to do in order to correct this situation. And so we really want to dive into that today because we don't want to just put questions out there. We want to give you the tools. If we have the tools, we want to be able to share them with you so that you truly do have a chance, you know, because I don't think, like you said last week night, nobody really gets into a relationship of commitment or a relationship of marriage for it to end. You know, right. You want it to go. Yeah, you do have some people who they write their out, that if it doesn't work, you know, we can just get a divorce, which really is setting it up to fail from the beginning. But that's a thought process. You know, we're conditioned to a lot of things that we see. And unfortunately, a lot of the television programs that are out there, they're so negative. Yeah. And they just feed a lot of negativity into you. All the cussing, all the fussing, all the fighting. You know, it's like people feel like that's a necessary part of relationships because that's what they see on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. But like we talked about in our segment, what kind of relationships are we creating? You know, I'm in a place now where I do not believe drama is necessary at all. And there was a time where I feel like I did crave it to some extent. You know, you feel like any attention is good attention, and that's not necessarily the truth. So a lot of times we take it in drama form. But we're called to be peacemakers, and we're called to live in a state of peace. And I really believe that peace on earth is possible. I believe that with all of my heart.
Absolutely.
But I believe that we have to be prepared to do the work. Like Jan Van Zandt says, she says, you got to do the work. So if you're asking the question today, is my relationship over? I ask you the question, have you done the work in order to make it what you want it to be? So in our segment, what kinds of relationships are we creating? We ended with some key components to helping you to have a successful relationship. And I really want us to start today's program with those key components and really talk about them, break them down, to give you some tools that are necessary, absolutely necessary for a successful relationship. And the first one that we're going to start with is honesty.
Honesty, absolutely. The honesty is an opportunity to be transparent, to be on 100% disclosure, not just with our partners or the people in our circles, but just in life. And that's about, again, abandoning the fear concept and really being truly in our own skin and being authentic about how we approach life and how we approach ourselves. And so as we mentioned in a couple of the last topics that a lot of us are having difficulty not only looking at the mirror, the reflections of ourselves. So some of us are getting behind the mirror and so we can't see anything. We don't want to accept or acknowledge. So this is what the honesty is so imperative of. The honesty, even though this is a relational principle or key element, it is also a key element in just being. Right, in a sense of being.
And how you said just now, I want us to really pinpoint there. You said a lot of people get behind the mirror. But even Michael Jackson says, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. You don't be behind the mirror that you're trying to look at the reflection of the other person, because if you can't be honest with yourself first, if you can't be honest about what you see in your reflection in that mirror, you're not going to be able to be honest with your mate or your partner or
Absolutely. And it's again remembering that everyone is a reflection of us.
Right.
But we have to be willing to look at that. We have to be willing to assess what is the truth and what is being said when someone offers that, and this is presuming that they may not be living in that space. They may not be operating from the principle that everyone is a reflection of me,
Right.
because this is new to some people.
Mm-hmm.
But I just offer that if you would just take an opportunity to just examine how much power you take back when you accept the possibility that what if I am creating this?
Right.
What if I have an opportunity to truly impact my own experience, and instead of life happening to me, life is happening through me? What if that is real? What if that is true?
And not only through me, but for me as
Mm-hmm.
well, because I feel like every experience that we have is something that is happening for us
Mm-hmm.
as well as through us. But because we've been so conditioned to looking at things happening to us, and we get into this victim mentality and woe is me, in every relationship that I'm in, I have this issue. But like you just said, if every relationship you've been in, you're experiencing the same thing. You said everybody might not be at the place where, excuse me, they can look at themselves in the mirror,
Mhm.
but you are the one who's experiencing it. So in every relationship, this is your experience. So maybe it does have something to do with you, and maybe it's time for you to really start going in. And one of the things, I remember when I did my own reflection with regards to me, and as a matter of fact, it was a relationship that was the catalyst of that.
Mhm.
It was my first marriage that was the catalyst of that. Man, that was one of the hardest processes, because I really had to come face to face with my quote unquote demons, with my quote unquote shadow side, my quote unquote dark energy,
Right.
And when you realize who you are underneath all of this stuff, and it's time for you to really face that, that can be whew.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but I'm so grateful that I did that process, and that I was honest with myself that it was necessary.
But don't you feel so much better after that's
Oh,
over,
yeah,
though? I mean,
absolutely.
I'm not implying, and I know that you're certainly emphasizing that there is some difficulty, can be some difficulty
Mhm.
in that. But oh my God, it is such a release.
You know what it's like?
It's freeing.
If you decide that you're going to do a major cleaning in your house, and so you pull everything out, all the junk from underneath the couch, everything from under the cupboard that doesn't serve you anymore. And so you end up with this big pile of garbage in the middle of the floor, or in the middle of every floor in every room. And you stand up and you say, why the heck did I even start this process? Because it looks now like so much work to clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get all of that out of there, even the way the house feels
Yes,
is different.
yes, it
Even
does.
the energy flows different. And so that's how it is. That's what I liken it to.
I love that example, because that is a very good example, and it's something that I've always used too, as far as boxes and how we clean things and how we put them in an appropriate place. If we're not ready to deal with something, don't bury it. Put it in a box and label it.
Right.
When you are prepared to go back and really look at that. So we're not suggesting that you are, you just dump everything on the floor. You can take things and projects too. There's various ways to approach that, right? But we're saying get prepared and be open to start doing some cleaning, because only in the cleaning are we going to be able to be transparent to ourselves, and then offer that transparency to those around us, which is going to bring a pure energy into your relationship, which is going to deepen your relationships, which is going to release your addictions. It's going to make space in your spirit to allow something else to be poured into it.
And be prepared to let things go. Because I know they have this show on about hoarders. And I'm just amazed at how people just hold on to stuff. But we do that. Even in our physical life, we hold on to things that we haven't worn for 5 years. Get rid of it. Be okay with releasing it. Like with clothes, you can go and give it to someone else, and someone else can make use of it. But if something isn't serving you anymore, be willing to release it. But we hold on to things because we feel like it protects us. but we really know that it's not serving us anymore. So if this protected you like in maybe like 10 relationships ago, you're with a completely different person now, and you know that you're with a completely different person, but you choose to hold on to this stuff that probably interrupted the relationship 10 years ago.
Right.
You know, just be willing to be honest with the fact that, you know what, maybe I don't need this anymore, and be willing to let it go.